For the first time this season, the number 2 car finished in the number 1 spot. As a matter of fact, Kurt Busch led more laps today than he did in the whole season in 2008. So for the second time in his career, Kurt Busch drives into Atlanta's victory lane. Hello, everybody, and welcome to NASCAR Victory Lane on Speed. I'm John Roberts alongside of Kenny Wallace, Jimmy Spencer.
Wow.
And this is a very happy place to be because there's a group behind us absolutely elated with all the struggles Dodge had last year. This group is so happy to win any type of a race, but especially right now. The timing is just right.
You know what, though? The thing I enjoyed about this race is the best car won this race. You know, we had this really exciting setup at the end, a caution for debris for a cut tire, and the 99, no, but 2 tires, gets in the lead. I said, oh, God, Carl's going to steal one. But you know what, Kenny? All that hard work of that Penske organization paid off. Kurt Busch done a heck of a job today. Pulls that thing in the victory lane.
And the human drama end of it is Roger Penske has been beating his head against the wall. What do I got to do to get back into victory lane? You know, the last time Penske won was with this man right here at Loudon, New Hampshire. He was running about 20th. He said, let's stay out on gas. He wins Loudon on gas mileage. But, Spence, I got to tell you, my brother Rusty's drove this car to pass. He keeps tabs on it. Good job for the captain, Roger Penske. Stays with Kurt Busch. Kurt works good with his crew chief, Pat Tryson. And what a beautifully set up car. Nobody's seen this car coming for the win.
You know, we've seen wins before this season.
Look at the captain.
The captain,
right
Roger
There
Penske.
he is, baby. Thanks,
Yeah,
Roger.
there's a happy guy. We told you we had a lot of happy people here, and Roger's probably going to be the happiest of them. Roger's going to come over here and talk to us a little bit, but right now, we got to talk about a total dominant performance. It's so difficult to win these races these days, no matter how you get them, whether it's fuel mileage, pit strategy, or what. Kurt Busch simply dominated this race today pretty much from start to finish.
You know, Johnny, you bring a point up that, you know, he led, you know, probably 200 laps or so. We'll get the exact number. But, Johnny, he didn't lead that many laps at all last year, and he led him in one race. And the thing is that this team, you know, I mean, you know, fans will tell you, and I was one of them. There was a lot of arguing going on last year, tremendous amount of arguing. It wasn't discussing, it was arguing. Hey, I want to park this car, and they never, ever gave up. And you know, Kenny, that's one thing about Roger Penske. You know, he's been there. I've watched Roger Penske, the most winning owner in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, walk out of there not making the race, but he never surrenders. And that's what he's done with this team. He's never surrendered. And you know, he knew he had a driver in Kurt Busch, and he just had to get that confidence and that thing meshed. And I admire Roger Penske for that tenacity to keep fighting.
Well, Kurt Busch is a champion. He's won a lot of races. He knows how to drive the car sideways. That's why when you look at the 2 car last year, the reason you didn't hear a lot of complaining from people saying what's wrong with that driver, it was never the driver. He can ride him sideways. He did for 500 miles. I mean, the guy was hung out up against the wall. So the captain, Roger Penske, never gave up on his driver because he knows he's got a championship driver. And now Tryson, whatever this crew chief has done, we'll try to get him and see what they've been doing because the 2 car has been fast everywhere this year. What did they do in the wintertime? We have to find out.
Now, just by our calculations, we have 232 laps led by Kurt Busch. We'll get it officially in a moment, but these are the most important 2 laps, and they're the ones after the green-white checker. Look at how difficult it's going to be for Kurt Busch not only to get past Carl Edwards, but he's got to hold off Jeff Gordon.
There you go, Johnny. Here's Jeff Gordon fans have been the factor all day long. Don't ever underestimate Jeff Gordon in the black SS. Here he comes. Carl's not giving up. Only 2 tires on Carl. This, fans, is exciting racing, Kenny. I tell you, I was on my edge of my seat.
And you see the 2 car wins it, but let's talk about that 99. The 24 takes one more shot. But Carl Edwards was going to finish. What did he get? Second? He got second. I didn't know that.
No. That was the white flag lap.
Oh, here we
they
go.
Come on. Yeah, here it is, 1 and 2. Watch Gordon. He says, I'll show you, Edwards. I'm going to take some air off your spoiler. He gets Carl loose, and he still has a shot at Kurt on the last lap through 3 and 4 here coming.
And Carl Edwards, instead of finishing 4th, he was going to finish 4th before the caution because Brian Vickers was going to be 2nd.
Look at that power move by that 2 car. Right on the white line, wide open fields. I'll tell you what. That is some strength in that Miller car.
So Carl Edwards picks up 1 spot by taking on right side only, and Brian Vickers was the only one that was bummed out because of that last caution. He goes from 2nd to 5th.
So it seemed like no matter what happened to Kurt Busch today, he was simply darting to the front once they got this thing restarted. Jeff Gordon came in the points leader. He will leave the points leader, but Kurt Busch comes out of here at Atlanta, the big winner for the second time in his career. We're going to talk to a very happy Kurt Busch, Roger Penske, and we'll talk to the other guys who figured into this race here, the Cobalt Tools 500 at Atlanta, when we come back to Victory Lane.
NASCAR Victory Lane is presented by Travelodge, Recreate, Hibernate. Brought to you in part by Ask.com. Get the answers to and all your racing questions at Ask.com, the official search engine of NASCAR. And by Touch of Gray from Just for Men.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, where race number 4 of the season is in the history books. You know, this was a very special race for the folks here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Race number 100 in the 60-year history of this racetrack. And boy, have we seen some wild finishes over those 60 years. And Kurt Busch was the guy on the right end of this finish today here at this version of the Cobalt Tools 500. Let's take you back in time to the green flag and take a look at some of the early racing going on here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. When the green flag waved, it was one of the prettier days we've seen in a long time at this point of the season. And you know what? Kurt Busch was on the front row with Mark the Kid Martin. Didn't turn out to be the kind of day he wanted, but he started up front.
Well, he started up front right here. This is the beginning of the race, and you see yourself. When you put Mark Martin up in front, buddy, you're going to see him up there all day long.
And a very tough break coming up here for the number 43 car. That's hometown hero Reed Sorensen from Peachtree City. Simply gets loose. Perhaps it was a tire. Not too sure. We never really heard.
Off early in the race, Johnny, and just something really freaked there, Kenny. He just, you know, no control, goes into the wall and ruins his day.
Yeah, I mean, we're only talking 4 laps in, something happens to Reed, but look at this one here. Here we go into the corner. The 96 Bobby Labonte, a great driver, champion driver. Look, just whoop, he's not even down in the corner yet and spins out. Now he falls out of the race. After this, he goes right to the garage area.
Great job by Joey Logano, the 66 there of Dave Blaney, missing this wreck, guys.
All right, let's go on board here with David Reagan, another one of the Georgia drivers, as we see what happens to Bobby Labonte once again. And Bobby is the winningest active driver here at Atlanta. He's won here 6 times, but that wasn't going to be the case today.
Bobby went into turn 4 a whole bunch in his career. He knows how to get into that corner, so the car just comes around him. Here we go, Jimmy Spencer. This is where the 2 car says, I am the man.
Well, Kenny, you know, this here's when it starts. You know, you're seeing these guys on pit road, but look at that thing on the top of the left-hand screen. Fans, that's a tire rolling across. And let me tell you what, we will talk about this a little bit. Look at this guy walking out here to get this tire. NASCAR has no option but to throw a caution. And let me tell you what, fans, that disrupted this race.
That was one of the stranger moves we've seen in a long time. That was off the number 47 of Marcus Ambrose's car, and the crew member is saying, man, I meant well. I'm sure he did mean well.
But you know what? I mean, you know, a good-looking older man, but probably one of the stupidest moves we've ever seen in the history of our sport.
I happen to agree with you.
I mean, he's within 70 feet of the front row.
And here we go. This here now, the caution comes out. Kurt pits, and they can't get the fuel in the car. Now, this is pretty interesting. Remember, these guys are trying to put the fuel in as fast as they can. So I'm like Darrell Waltrip. Something has happened here in the last couple of weeks. This is the first car. There's a lot of guys having problems, Johnny, putting fuel in them cars.
All right, so Jimmy Johnson is looking for some bright spots in this season so far, and here he is out front battling with Carl Edwards, Juan Pablo Montoya on the high side.
Yeah, and I want you fans to look at this stuff. You watch these guys. They are driving their tails off. These cars are going in the corner. Here comes the 99 car. You talk about a relentless rascal. That is Cousin Carl, and he takes the lead from Jimmy Johnson here. Now, at this time, fans, there's about 6 cars in front of him that were on the tail end of the lead lap. Not for long, because look who's on the outside. The Blue Deuce, baby. Here she comes.
And the Blue Deuce qualified second. And when he made his qualifying run, the number 2 of Kurt Busch made his qualifying run in the middle of the racetrack. He ran high every single lap since he's been here.
Kenny, look at this. Very rare. Bobby Labonte spins out again, coming off a 4. Nobody around him. Something was wrong with that car, because he parked the Ask.com Ford after this one.
So tough break for Bobby Labonte on a track where he's run very well before, but let's watch this number 2 car again. This is going to be a recurring theme all afternoon.
Yeah, you know, and you got guys. Now, this is what I like about this year. You know, here's Cousin Carl showing his face. How about Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth wins the first 2, Kyle Busch last week. Fans, I'm telling you what, this is only the 4th race of the year we are in for some great racing the rest of this year. Here's a good example of it.
So the 2-car absolutely dominated, and I believe that that's the most laps that anybody has ever led here at this race. There were 10 cars on the lead lap at lap number 125.
And Johnny, look at this guy. These guys are driving their hearts out. He's just going on a Sunday drive, going right through traffic like I've never seen a guy go before.
All right, so it looked easy right now. We know it's not that easy, but Kurt Busch made it look really easy. After 125 laps, that was the strange thing. And one of the problems was that tire that rolled out into the infield. That brought out an untimely caution, caught a bunch of people on pit road, and that's why everybody was so far out of sequence. But also it was the fact that Kurt Busch was, well, kicking everybody's rear end. There's no other way really to say it. But let's take a look one more time at this incident with the tire running out there. Now, with cars going by at full song out on the racetrack, this is a very dangerous move.
And, you know, Kenny and I were sitting there, you know, with you, Johnny. We were watching this at Kenny. You know, I don't understand what this guy's mentality of I know you're supposed to get the tire, and I know the guy's supposed to get the tire. I understand that. But there's no guardrail between him. Them cars are coming off that corner 165, 175 mile an hour, Kenny. Just thank the good Lord that nobody lost control, nobody got in trouble there.
And I got one quick thing to say. Bobby Labonte, if you remember, just got done spinning out in that spot 5 laps earlier. So before you think, hey, man up, go out and get the tire, take a chance of getting run over, so what? The caution's going to come out. Bobby Labonte just got done spinning out there. So for any upcoming crew members, listen, keep your adrenaline in check. Don't ever do that.
Yeah, wow, we're just glad no one was hurt in that incident. We got to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to talk to Kurt Busch about this big victory for the Penske organization and also take you through the race. Pick it back up at lap number 126. On Monday, Steve Burns, Michael Waltrip, and Greg Biffle will break down all the action from Atlanta on This Week in NASCAR. The panel will also preview the Bristol race, and you don't want to miss a feature with Greg Biffle and his dad. This Week in NASCAR, Mondays at 8 Eastern, only on Speed. So when we left off the racing highlights, it was lap number 125. Only 10 cars were on the lead lap, and Kurt Busch was in control. Let's go back lap number 126. Green flag waved once again. We're racing, and once again, Kyle Busch is dominating.
And you know the thing about this weather today, fans, I can't remember Atlanta being this nice of weather. And you know what? The drivers are showing it, because here they are, 3 wide. That's only can happen at Atlanta, baby, and they all make it through there, guys.
Looks a little bit like rush hour traffic out on I-85 on the outside of Atlanta, but here comes Jeff Gordon.
Who's that?
Jeff Gordon.
It's Jeff Gordon in the black SS with the navigation. I had to get in.
I was hoping we could get through the night without that.
No
yeah, but it's so cool to see Jeff Gordon running good, guys. I get excited with that, but look at Kurt. You know what? He's running that high line like my buddy Wallace says. He ain't afraid to die. And he brushes the wall again. And you know what, Kenny? He just keeps on getting it on.
Well, he's getting ready to run at Macon Speedway on May 25th. And he thinks he's at Eldora. He better calm down a little bit.
But when you look at that, it's not enough scraping to get the Goodyear off the side of the tires. And watch the save by Greg Biffle.
Yeah, and Dave Reagan, you know, David Reagan has to realize that this is a mistake on his part. He knows the Biff's coming over. He needs the lift right here. And I'll tell you what, later on, fans, I'm going to show you another highlight. David Reagan, back up a little bit. Respect your fellow competitors. I think you made a bad decision on the 16th move there.
And also, the Biff is his teammate.
Yes, a good point.
Brilliant save, and once again, Kurt Busch is going to get up into the wall.
No way, Johnny. Is he? Watch.
Yep, watch this. Look at the tire marks.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That got the Goodyear off the side of the tire.
I swear to God that if I was focusing in, I would think he's coming off a turn 4 at Darlington. Don't you think?
Yeah, that reminds you of Darlington. But here's a good move on the outside. Whoa. Whoa.
77.
The 7, I was watching the one from 77. Takes
Sam
out,
Hornish and Bill Elliott.
Yeah, and Sam Hornish just hits the wall, comes down across. God, Sam, keep it against the wall, dude. You took out George's favorite, Bill.
So tough break for Bill Elliott. We won't see him again until Texas, I believe, is the next time we'll see him in that race car. And watch Jeff Gordon come out just barely. It's a 3-wide race to the end of the pit road, and Jeff Gordon got out first.
Yeah, and this is interesting. NASCAR has this timing and scoring lock at the end of pit road for that reason. Don't forget, fans, these guys all pitted further. One up the middle and one on the end. 3 cars, different position on pit road.
Tough break for Mark Martin.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. He said something was wrong. He was hanging onto the car. And it's rare for Mark Martin to lose a King. I believe something, you know, punctured that tire, whatever, takes him out of this race.
You know, the bottom line is right rear goes down, but here's what we got to worry about. Mark Martin is 35th in the points right now.
Shocking.
At 32nd, 35th, somewhere he's back there. He has had no luck. 2 blown motors, right rear flat tire.
Look at that power move. There it is, another pass for the lead on the outside of Jeff Gordon. And you know, Kurt was running that high line, and he got the zone. He was in the zone there on that high side. And baby, it paid off for him here on that move.
We know it's not easy, but Kurt Busch was making it look easy as he passed one of the best in the business in Jeff Gordon on the high side of the racetrack. And Kurt Busch again was making it look very easy here at Atlanta, but we still have a long way to go and a little bit of overtime NASCAR style as we went green, white checkers. When we come back, we'll take you to that slightly delayed checkered flag and a huge win here at the Cobalt Tools 500. Well, after this weekend in Atlanta, NASCAR's Top Series gets a week off before Bristol, but the guys who will enjoy the week off the most is probably going to be this number 2 bunch after they scored a very big win early in the season here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So we got you to 75 laps to go now, and they were 75 very eventful laps. And let's pick it up with the green flag waving once again. And we got to say up to the front of the pack here that things are getting a little bit dicey.
Yeah, right here we're seeing a lot of different strategies take place. Most of these guys have made their adjustments. They know they're coming down to maybe 1 or 2 pit stops left in this race. And now they're really fine-tuning these cars. And as you can see, they're all getting a lot closer than they were in the beginning of this race.
Greg Biffle was one of those drivers who got caught back in the pack by an untimely caution on pit lane, and then this happened.
Yeah, and the 82 car here is put in the wall by the 6 car fans. This is, you know, very uncharacteristic of David Reagan, but that wreck, well, that doesn't show what happened there.
That's what happened up front. That's what happened up back.
But
out back.
Out back. But, you know, Scott Speed once again in the grave. Here it is here. Watch the 6 car. Catches Scott Speed in the right rear corner. Bam! Now, Scott Speed does a fantastic job keeping that car on the wall. Great job. But you know what? The mumble jumble right there. The David Stremme, the Jeff Burton, and then the Biff gets the wrong end of the stick. Takes him out of the race.
So very tough going for the Biff there. Here's the 14 of Tony Stewart getting in the back of his old race car.
Well, this here to me is a little lesson to Joey. You are 5 laps down, my friend. You do not be racing that position holding up leaders. And Tony at the time was 2 laps down. He got both of his laps back, but he taught the boy a lesson there, and I think that Joey is gaining a lot of experience as the weeks go on here.
Here's Kurt Busch out front, making it look easy again.
Well, Kurt is in rhythm right now. You know, when you're running that high line, you got to know where you're going to let off. But now, here's what happens. Look to the right of your screen. Here comes Brian Vickers. Kurt thinks he's going to go on, but Brian Vickers starts eating away at his lead. But right there, he burns the right rear, and now Kurt sets sail, only to see the caution come out here in just a little bit.
That's why you never leave a race at Atlanta until it's absolutely over, because Robbie Gordon has a tire go south on him, and therefore we set up a green-white checker situation. And Carl Edwards decided to take 2 tires. Kurt Busch took 4, and therefore, Carl got out first.
But can I say that was the right thing to do?
I agree with you.
Because look, they all knew the 2 was going to take 4. So look, let's try to go for the win, and it all worked out. He still finished 3rd.
And then, you know, Kenny, the thing is that if there's another car or 2 gets between the 99 and the 2, maybe the 99 wins. But you know what? The 2 had a great pit stop. They pop out in 2nd, and baby, it's Katie Botadors. That's a power move there, Johnny, right to the bottom. But man, here comes Jeff Gordon. I'm gonna tell you what, fans, they're in trouble this year with that 24. He's going to win more than 1 before the year's over.
And you want to know what I want to ask Jeff Gordon. He's been telling us he's running better because last year his back hurt him. I mean, what's going on here? Why is Jeff Gordon running so good over him last year? You know, in the 48, Jimmy Johnson's struggling. So there he goes. Kurt Busch wins it, and Jeff Gordon finishes 2nd. Carl Edwards 3rd.
All right, so great day for this number 2 team as they get win number 1 of the season and the 2nd win ever for Kurt Busch at this racetrack. Let's take a look at the results. And at the Cobalt Tools 500, it's Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards, Kevin Harvick, and Brian Vickers. And this is the first time since the end of last year that brothers have gone back-to-back winners. Kyle last week, Kurt this week, and that happened last year during the chase with the same 2 guys.
Yeah, and look at this, guys. Dodge, Ford, Chevy, you know, a lot of mix of manufacturers up there. Dale Earnhardt struggled all day long. Comes out of here with 11th place. Denny Hamlin, a lot stronger than that. 13th. Jeff Burton lap down. But, you know, here's where it starts. These guys here from about 21st on back, rough day for all these guys.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something. 24th place, David Gilliland is now in the top 35 in the points, so he's got to get through Bristol, and this guy's looking good.
Great job by that team and that driver. You know, Mark Martin and David Rudiman ran a lot better than that finish indicates.
And you know, the thing is, there's Reed. They fixed the car. He comes back out from 43rd to 33rd. So good move on that cruise part.
Blaney, Travis Quapple, and Mike Bliss finish up our field here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's now take a look at the points. Jeff Gordon came in as points leader, and he leaves the same way.
Yeah, and he's actually further ahead. Clint Boyer hangs on to second, but you know, Jeff pulls away. But Kurt jumps all the way up to third. Carl, Matt, the usual suspects here, fans. Nothing new, nothing different than last year.
Time now for our Valvoline protecting the win part of the race today. And you know what? Nobody protected the win better than Kurt Busch himself behind the wheel of his #2 car as he passed Carl Edwards like Carl was in reverse. Look at Kurt Busch getting out to the lead and taking the checkered flag. Kurt comes to join us next here on Victory Lane. Welcome back, everybody, to Victory Lane in Atlanta. You know, there are all kinds of different victory celebrations we have seen over the past couple of years. And it turns out that Kurt Busch usually comes up with a good one. This one is brand new. Not too sure what to name it yet. But, hey, when you win one of these races the way Kurt Busch did, you get to do whatever you want. Total domination. In fact, don't have a confirmation on this yet, but I think this is the most laps led by a driver in this particular race. And Kurt joins us now. First of all, Kurt, what was with the reverse victory lap?
I don't know. Me and my buddies had too many Miller Lights one night, and we came up with the idea. I was ready to gas her up when we got there.
Hey, it was great, though, but what domination? It's got to be a great feeling.
It is. It's incredible just to work with everybody at Penske, and I feel like good things come to those who wait. And we've worked hard with this COT, and there's days that are good, and there's days that are really bad. And then you just keep working. You keep persevering, and I'm real proud of my guys that everybody keeps coming up with new ideas, and it really, right now, it feels like everybody's pulling the rope in the right direction.
Hey, Kurt, congratulations. I mean, an incredible job of driving. I mean, today was your day, but as a race car driver, I go back to the end of last year. All of a sudden, you come on like gangbusters. Now, listen, championship driver, running 20th, 25th, 30th last year, and then at the end of the year, boom. What do you think made this team turn around? Because you've been fast ever since Homestead.
Yeah, it feels good just to have everything, it feels like. Better Penske power, better handling, I think better downforce. You name it, I think that we've improved in all areas. Because if you have one weak link out on the Cup circuit, you're going to get beat by something. Something's going to hold you back. And really just the culmination of hard work behind the scenes. And I felt like today, with a dominant car like that, we were going to get beat at the end because we couldn't run strong at the end.
But, you know, Spence sits up here all the time and says it's all driver, all driver. But I think you're a great driver, but you're a championship driver. You were running 25th and 30th last year. So, obviously, you're the same driver. They just worked on that chassis, motors, body.
Everything. And people, it's weird being 30 years old and having the group at Penske look up to me as a stable guy and inspiring people. And you can't show that emotion. You have to still continue to focus and drive hard with everybody involved. Engineering staff, engine department, the guys here at the track. I just feel like everybody's really worked that much harder to get everything where we are right now. And to beat guys like Gordon today and Edwards, they're the men at Atlanta. But today reminded me of Darlington.
Oh, I thought so
Darlington,
too.
Man. Right up on the rim and hanging
on
it out.
The wall.
And I'm following four-time champion Jeff Gordon around. I'm like, you better start thinking race the racetrack. And it was good. We were getting a little loose. I just was not focusing on racing the racetrack.
You know, Kurt, I guess that's what I want to talk about. I mean, they stretched the gas mileage. Pat did a great job there, and then the caution comes out. You know, and then you guys made a great call, 4 tires. Now you come out second. What are you thinking? I mean, like you said, what's going to happen? What could happen to be that dominant?
Yeah, it just feels like you always have to dodge bullets at Atlanta. You never have it in the bag. Everybody's always going to come at you with a different strategy, a good car in a long run. You know, I felt like Edwards gave me a ton of room off turn 2, and I'd like to thank him for that. And Jeff Gordon gave me a little bit of room on the restart. It's just, you have a good car for 500 miles, but you got to throw that away and race your car for a green-white checker, and it's a whole different ballgame.
And, you know, last year, Kurt, we talk about it a little bit, but, boy, what a devastating year for Penske and yourself. And you guys, you know, the last 10 races really committed to saying, we got to get better, guys. You know, what were some of the things that you guys did do? I mean, I remember having supper with you guys up at Michigan, and you said, Jimmy, my front end doesn't grip the racetrack. What were some of the things they did to make it work? And explain to the fans what you're talking about, the front end gripping, because you don't have control.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly felt like that was the issue, and that's what we needed to improve on was front downforce. And with the new Dodge nose, we were able to shove downforce towards the front and change the percentage front to rear. Now, we lost rear, but we gained front. Then we changed it around and gained some other stuff. It's amazing that what we've done in the offseason to improve our cars, but the biggest thing has just been that power. The power down the straightaway, getting that top rim riding groove and just hammer down from the top. I felt like throttle on time was the way to do it today. And guys that win races are good from the center of the corner to the start-finish line. I think that's where we had them today.
Yeah, well, Kurt, your performance was amazing today. Way to go. Great job. But you know what's even more amazing? The fact that you took Spencer out to dinner. That's bravery, man.
and I didn't have to
It's a brave guy.
Hey, but you know what? Third in the points, too. Good job, buddy.
Way to go, Kurt. Thank you.
We're feeling
Appreciate
a lot
the time,
better.
man.
Hey, I can't let you guys get off too easy.
Oh, no.
It's dry. It's dry.
No, we don't mind that. Thanks, man.
As long as it's not liquid, man, we
we
appreciate
can
it.
handle that, Kurt.
Oh, we can handle that.
That is blast, and we like that.
He's a little
Thank you for being nice to us.
That's a lot.
Hey, it's time for another racing question on the official search engine of NASCAR, Ask.com. What state is called NASCAR Valley? And give you a little clue, Kurt Busch has won there a lot, too. All right, back with more of NASCAR Victory Lane in a moment. Welcome back, everybody, to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. A well-deserved spraying of champagne for Kurt Busch and the entire number 2 team. Ups and downs, bit of a roller coaster ride last year, but here they are back on top of their game again. And look, did he actually pour champagne on the boss?
He did.
Yeah, I think he did, but you get to do that after a win like this. Roger Penske joins us now, and Roger, like we just talked to Kurt about, there are wins in this sport because it's so difficult, the playing field is so level, but to go out there and dominate like that today, that's got to just make for a great feeling amongst the team.
Well, I can tell you, I just want to thank Kurt for what a great job he's done. I mean, he's a terrific driver. You know, his brother wins every week, and he says, hey, I think I'm as good, and I think that's one of the things I told him. We've got to give you the best equipment, and we haven't given him the best equipment, but I think today we had it come together. I think the car was good, he obviously, and our pit stops were awesome. So I want to thank all the guys on the number 2 team, Miller, who sponsored us for so many years. For us to come this early in the season, guys, I think it shows something. We got something to handle for the rest of the year.
Yeah, a good point because you're third in the points, too, and that's a big boost. But, Roger, you've seen so much. You've been so successful in every division. You know, and I guess I want to ask you, how do you keep the morale of the team? You missed the chase last year with both teams. You know, and Ryan decides, hey, you know what? I need to leave. He doesn't have the confidence in you, but Kurt does. How do you keep this thing intact? And there you are, win.
Well, I think, Jimmy, it's about the people. You know, we don't have a lot of turnover at Penske Racing, and they know we're focused. We've had some good runs, again, even last year, but to me, the commitment we made off season, I wanted to test. Can you believe that? I'm glad we didn't now. But I think when I see Hendricks and Roush and Gibbs and those guys, you know, I'd like to be up there with them. And I think today, you know, we showed them we have something to run with. And all the cars have run well this year. But to me, it was sitting down with Kurt, sitting down with Pat Trice, says, hey, guys, we're here together. We're not getting a divorce. We're going to go win some races.
And, you know, Roger, I mean, you're the captain, and you put my brother through a lot of wins, and I want to thank you for that. And because I guess I'm, as Rusty would say, I'm always in the carburetor. You know, I mean, last year I remember, you know, him just going nuts on the radio, the car running 30th, and you're Roger Penske, and I'm thinking, how's the captain going to handle this? And then all of a sudden at Homestead, you know, here he comes. Now, how do you dissect this? How do you go, okay, we need better horsepower, we need more downforce? Did you just get everybody together, or did you just believe in exactly what Kyle or Kurt was saying?
Well, I think, you know, it's like running a business. You just don't get to the front overnight. I think it was a commitment on aerodynamics. Thomas DeLong came back. You know, he worked for us at Penske Cars. He went to Renault. He's back with us now. The commitment on the R6 engine, Tom German coming in. And I think everybody sees that we're committed on the team. And, of course, the pit stops, all the guys over the wall stayed with us. So I think, I said, Kurt, we've got the best guys here now. We've got to do it and pull together. And I think you need just a little bit of momentum. I think we got that early on. We had a tough break at Daytona, but you saw us in California. And to me, this is the car he ran in California, in fact, so we knew it was a good car. I guess I'm committed. You know, I want to come to the races. I don't want to finish 30th, I can tell you that. It's hard for me to walk down from that spotter stand and see people buying victory lane. It's not us, but we're committed this year. I want to thank Tim Cindric and everybody who said, hey, we're going to win this year. We have to. It's a real breakout year for us, as you know, with sponsors so tough to keep. And Miller has been a great sponsor for how many years, even with Rusty, as you know that. So, and with Dodge going through what they're going through in Detroit right now, to win for them, I hope this gives them some real momentum with the government.
I just want to make one quick comment. I want to congratulate you for the good businessman and leader you are for taking your driver and putting everything together and being a winner. A lot of car owners cannot do that, and you did that this year. Good job.
Well, I put my arm around Kurt. I was a great guy. I saw him how he ran with Rouse. We kind of started off bumpy in Phoenix 2 or 3 years ago, but he's gotten better, guys. We just haven't given him the right horse because he can go.
And, you know, I think that the thing is you have a good product on the side of the car. My son swears by Miller Lite, but I guess what I want to get at is you mentioned a little bit about testing. This car of tomorrow, we're in this thing. We're here to stay. Is this going in the right direction, trying to try to get the car owners to save some money, you know, try to get more bang for your dollar, because we know how tight a dollar is?
Well, Jimmy, I think the one thing is there's no question that we probably saved $1 million+ by not going testing. You know, the tires, the airfare, the engines, and things like that. Obviously, there's lots of controversy about the car. I guess today we had a pretty good car, so we liked the car today. Maybe some other races we hated it, but to me, we've got to look at things to take costs out of this sport, because we race every single weekend. And if we can get some things that are consistent across all cars and let these guys race on the racetrack, I think it's going to be the best way to go in the future.
Roger, congratulations, man. Your team absolutely dominated today. Great job.
It's a pleasure for me to be up here with you guys. You know, the last time was at Daytona. That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. It's good to see you.
All the best. Hope to see you again.
Oh, yeah, I believe we will, Roger.
Hey, that was
absolute
Roger Penske.
dominating performance by that number 2 team today. Now, in a couple of weeks, we do get a weekend off, but March 20th on Speed, NASCAR heads to the boldest bull ring in racing, Bristol. Our coverage begins with NASCAR Sprint Cup practice at noon Eastern, and don't forget the ultimate Friday night party, NASCAR Trackside at 7 Eastern. NASCAR on Speed, be there, presented by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning. A beautiful Georgia sunset is a good indication of what kind of day we had here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Beautiful weather, and nothing looks more beautiful to Roger Penske and company than to see that 2 car here in Victory Lane. Now, there were a lot of cars that figured into this thing by the end of the race, but and Kenny is, you know what? I'm used to this. I'm used to hanging around with a bunch of tools.
That's pretty cool. That was what Kurt did there was awesome.
All right, Kurt got us with the confetti afterwards,
cool.
But you know what? Brian Vickers almost got Kurt Busch on the racetrack. Ended up with a top 5 finish. Let's go to Bob Dillner.
You can play Monday morning quarterback all you want, but I'm sure that Brian Vickers, you did not want to see that last caution. Am I right there?
No, I didn't. You know, we had a long run car. We ran the 2 down, and you know, in hindsight, it's easy to say we didn't want the last caution, knowing what happened, you know, in the pit stop. But you know, it's frustrating. You know, we had a chance to win a race there, and you know, really proud of the Red Bull guys putting a great car together. We had a fast car all day, had to fight back through some troubles. You know, telling the lead lap there, lap down, whatever you want to call it, it was a mess. But we came back from that, and we had a shot at it.
Bittersweet, though, I'm sure, because this team, Red Bull Racing, especially with your car, really showing its strength right now.
Yeah, it really is. You know, really proud of the effort. You know, Ryan and all the guys that came on board this year, and a lot of great people from the past couple of years have done a tremendous job. We're starting to build depth in the team. You know, I guess we're in the top 12 in points now, so that's great. We just need to stay there.
11th in points, 2 top 10 finishes coming into here, now a top 5.
Bob, thanks a lot, and way to go, Brian Vickers. What a great run for that team. I know when you're in that position, guys, you want to win when you have a shot at winning, but you got to be happy these days with a top 5 finish.
Well, and I think that he's saying that he did get close to Kurt, but I don't believe he was going to beat that 2 car. I mean, he got there and he stabilized. I listened to Darrell Waltrip say it best. You know, Kenny, they sort of just balanced out. But he is right. You know, that last pit stop there cost him a 2nd to a 5th, but it is a good run for that 83. What a difference between last year and this year for that team.
Boy, Spence, I'm glad you said that. That's exactly what I was going to talk about. You know, last year I went to Daytona, and I made the Daytona 500 in the Furniture Row car. Well, the big story was Brian Vickers sitting right next to me. He finished behind me. He was so happy he made the Daytona 500. Jimmy Spencer, you're right. Look how far this team has come. He went with Red Bull Racing 2 years ago, missed like 12 to 14 races. You heard me right. He missed 12 to 14 races. 1 year later, he makes the Daytona 500. Another year later, he almost wins Atlanta. So I'm going to tell you what, it's teamwork. Cohesiveness, meaning you got to stick together and work it through. His 3rd year, and now he's rolling.
A very focused Jeff Gordon told us before this season started that he meant business this year, and it's showing on the racetrack. For the first time since 2007, Jeff Gordon is back on top of the points, and he looks like he's poised to keep that drive for 5 alive. He finished 2nd today. Let's go back to Bob Dillner.
The point leader with another great day here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And tell me about that finish, because you were giving it all you could.
Oh, it was wild. You know, we had a really good car on the short runs, and, you know, I got a good restart. I almost got around the 2 getting into 1, and he saw me coming and blocked me, and we just ran wide open. It was crazy to try to get by Carl. Carl was out there with 2 tires. We ended up getting by him. I just didn't quite clear him. I drove in too deep into 3. And Kurt was sliding and banging off the track, and so was I. And it was a heck of a battle. It was a great race for us with the DuPont National Guard Chevrolet today. We just had a great time. This team is just awesome right now, and we're having a lot of fun battling up front like that.
You had a battle, though, today. I mean, a car good at points, so at points, a little clutch problem as well. So overcame a lot of adversity, and I think that says some good things about the team, doesn't it?
I think it says some great things. I mean, these 2nd place finishes and the finishes that we're getting aren't coming easy. You know, we're having to battle through some things, and it's only going to make us stronger in the long run. I feel like we haven't reached our full potential yet, and you know, you got to walk before you run. We've come a long way from last year. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves. Just going to keep chipping away at it. Couldn't be more proud of Steve and all these guys on this DuPont Chevrolet team. Really happy to have National Guard Youth Challenge on board today, and glad we gave them a good run. So, you know, 2nd place at Atlanta, we'll take it and go on, have a nice off weekend, and can't wait to get to Bristol.
Couple 2nd place finishes now this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. You know, I really felt like we had a shot at winning at California. This one, you know, we would have been sort of stealing one if we would have gotten it. But the fact that we're running good enough to be up there, to be in contention for wins, man, that's what I'm loving.
That's the main point, guys. In contention for wins. He'll get one soon.
I'm going to wear it out until somebody starts getting mad at me.
I think you already got some people.
He drives a black SS with a navigation. Mama, Ia. Uh-oh, that's Nelly. And now Jeff Gordon painted his car black. Big controversy in the wintertime. We're going to paint the car black. Everybody's like, oh, we got to buy new merchandise because Jeff Gordon painted his car black. Well, here's the theme for me for tonight's Victory Lane. What has he done over the winter? Jeff Gordon, what has he done over the winter? As far as that goes, what did Kurt Busch do over the winter? We seen 1st and 2nd place come out of nowhere. These guys were struggling last year. What do you think, Spence? What are they doing?
They're competitors, Kenny.
And they just stepping up to the plate. Now, you know, something that really is on me that I want to get to the bottom of is I just want Jeff Gordon to tell me. Twice this year he says, you know, last year I had back problems, and I've already talked about it in this show. I want to know what he was talking about because look, last year he wouldn't slide the car much. This year, maybe it's the cars underneath of him because I'm not going to put it all on him. But I'm going to tell you what, it's the same crew chief, it's the same driver, it's the same organization. So Jeff Gordon, man, he is back by popular demand, leading the points.
And you know the thing is, fans, did you hear him say he's still not at full potential? Boy, I'll tell you, that's scary for the rest of the competition. Not for me, I'm excited about it. But you know what? I've seen something this year I'm excited about this year. The 2, the 24. We know the 48's due, the 18-1. You know, how about the 83, how strong he is? 99, the Biff. Guys, when we get closer here, we're going to talk about the top 35 at Bristol. But you know what? Heck with that. How about this top 12? We are going to see a battle for this top 12 that is second to none. Be the best in the history of this sport, Johnny.
And for your listening enjoyment, instead of Nelly next weekend, Kenny Wallace is going to sing the Rolling Stones' Paint It Black. How about that? Is that cool? All right. Kurt Busch is singing a victory song today at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll be back with more Victory Lane in a moment.
NASCAR Victory Lane is presented by Travelodge, Recreate, Hibernate. Brought to you in part by the new 2010 Ford Fusion. Get in and drive one. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Welcome back, everybody. Another beautiful look at the Georgia sunset here as the Cobalt Tools 500 is fading into the sunset. But, you know, Carl Edwards and Bob Osborne gave it their all at the end of this race with a gutsy move to try to get the victory. Didn't turn out that way, but nonetheless, a third-place finish is not too shabby. Let's go back to Bob Dillner.
Well, it was 2 tires versus 4, and Carl Edwards, you had the 2, and you knew the train was going to be a-coming.
Yeah, it was a blue train. He was fast all day. You know, Kurt, he just got to the outside of me there, got me. Yeah, that's really about all I had. You know, we had 1,000 Aflac employees in the stands. I wanted to win that thing for him so badly, and still a great run for us. I guess it moved us up in points, and right now that's the name of the game. We were in a box. You know, we had that pit stall. We had to take 2. I wanted to be leading it, not 7th or 8th at that restart.
You were driving it hard, though. I mean, your battle there with Kurt, and then also Jeff Gordon there. That was something else.
It held up great, you know, on 2 tires, better than I would have thought. I saw Jeff get tight there off of 4, and I thought, man, I might get him. And he just had too much for me. But it was a great result for not, you know, kind of a long, punctuated day. I mean, we kept falling back in the pits and falling back, and I thought it was cool to end up 3rd.
Carl Edwards, good run. Ironically, his first top 5 of the year, guys.
Bob, thanks a lot. Yeah, that is somewhat ironic that Carl hadn't been there yet, but still, again, a great points day. That's what we got to do to be a champion.
Yeah, and remember last year, my God, he dominates at California. He dominates at Vegas. And he's going to win this race here, and he blows up. And now, Kenny, this is his first top 5. That's very uncharacteristic, but that goes to show you how tough this competition is today. A lot of different players this year.
And one thing I like to put an exclamation mark on is that, you know, sometimes we sit up here on the stage and some of you think we're silly because we're trying to talk about points. Well, did you just hear him? He said, I had to finish 3rd because I had to get some points. Remember, he blew the motor up on the white flag lap at Vegas, got himself down in the 20s. So he's looking, you know, he wants to get his truck and trailer parked up real good there when they go to Martinsville. Right now, he's still down in the points. So even those drivers are talking about points right now.
And I'm excited about this. Remember last year, the 99 and 18 at Bristol, and that's where we're going next week, Johnny.
Yep, got a weekend off coming up here. Now, although there's not racing next weekend, the thing is that these crews will still be very hard at work trying to get ready for Bristol because that is a huge race. And this one was pretty huge here for Roger Penske and Kurt Busch. Congratulations to the number 2 team. And thanks once again to the folks at Atlanta Motor Speedway for being so hospitable to us. Now let's look in the rearview mirror.
Magical.
Boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Hey, Paul, get out from under the table. Look at that good-looking man right there to my right. Ain't he pretty?
The pace should slow up and the racing should be awesome.
The engines in particular for Michael Waltrip Racing. Is that in your notes?
Well, I'm working hard for a living here.
So sometimes you need to look back and say, you know what, I need to quit right now, cut my losses.
JR, I love you.
Horses are dangerous. I can tell you that right now. It's going to be a groovy track. Come on, baby.
It's gonna be groovy, baby.
Well, they may not be overly sociable.
You know, that's what they say about Jimmy and Kenny. Quiet, confident, you know, very, very shy. Yeah, right.
I get very embarrassed when people want me to talk about things. I'm shy.
Yeah, right. Versus Big Daddy Kurt Busch, Roger Penske winning Atlanta. 19th career victory for Kurt Busch, who started on the outside pole and gets his 3rd top 10 finish of 2009.
Oh, no. We can handle that.